get past the approval of those minutes. And I think we can jump right into department reports. So
All right, hold on. Something. I'm not sure we're live because something went.
Mine says live.
It says live, but then it didn't.
Oh, Charlie, if you are not logged into YouTube as the continuing committee, you might not be able to see you'll get an error message for the live stream. So if you're logged into YouTube as you won't be able to see it, but if you log in to it as the continuing committee, you'll be able to see it.
I can confirm we're live. I just checked our YouTube channel. We are streaming.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. I've never seen that before.
Because I am not logged in.
Yeah, it's a new thing. I just saw it.
All right, well then I'll go post the link on the forums and
because Charlie, you can't create a feedback loop.
Yeah, I know. So
I'm already getting pinged by Patty.
Our viewers and Patty and maybe Brian Sykes.
All
right,
they're all texting. Yes, you're live, you idiots.
I will stop talking and let you resume your meeting. So.
You're fine. We're very official, as everybody knows. I think department reports is what I said, and that leads off with Maggie. So have at it.
All right. Well, the big thing that I do, I guess the biggest part of my duties on any given year is right now, which is the period of review. So the forum threads are open for all of the directors for the period of review. The vote will begin on February 1st and run February 1st through the 8th. I believe we are going to discuss the period of review and membership today. But we're going to discuss that a bit in new business, but that is ongoing right now. Other things I haven't done much to for the last part, all efforts to recruit and retain players, except I guess I am running I started a Return to Farpoint tournament series online, which I have been told by some of the newer 2E players that they're really happy that series is running because it has such a limited card pool that helps them a bit with the deck building. So those sorts of events, limited card pool events. This month is a sealed reflection sealed event are always popular because I've got 14 players right now in my 2E event. So yeah, been doing all the things that I normally do, play testing, second edition, running Tuesday night Tribbles. I have on the to-do list to run another Tribbles playtest session so we can get that set out. So just rolling along. I have an in-person event next weekend here in Chicagoland. So anybody who's watching this and it's going to be in Chicago on in the Chicago area on January 29th, please join us for second edition in Tribbles at Games Plus.
Yeah, don't sell yourself short. That Return to Farpoint's really fun event. I mean, either achievements up for grabs for people who play in a bunch of them. If anybody is chasing achievements, those are some limited edition ones. But yeah, 14 players in that 2 event. I'm playing in it. Daniel, you're in it too, right? Daniel, I think the 3 of us are. And yeah, I mean, it's always great for me to look at who's listed in the tournament and see names you don't recognize or handles you don't recognize. And I think there are at least 2, maybe 3 players that are either newer or returning to the game or after a hiatus. So
I already played somebody new.
Did you really? Okay, good.
Yeah,
new to me.
And I will also I have to plug. The inspiration for that came from Brian Sykes, who's running a Return to Talos 4 for first edition, which is also running right now. So there's cool prizes up for grabs for both of those. And as soon as I can get the image for the second edition foils, I will post those onto I'll post those in an article. But so they're very cool. They're just waiting VP numbers so I can send them to the printer also. So Oh yeah, that's the other thing I've been doing. Gathering. Since I took over promos, I've been gathering files for the promos, and I've sent a bunch of files to Jeremy, and hopefully he will be able to print them this week and for assembly. So yes, busy.
Busy with a lot of regular duties. And yeah, I was going to plug the Return to Talos 4 event in my update. So we'll just do it twice. Anything else, Maggie? Or can we move on to first edition?
Not that I can think of. Go on to first edition.
Okay. Charlie, you're up.
Yeah, it's I don't have a ton to report because it's the last meeting was before the holidays, and it's typical over the holiday season. People's availability goes down and not much has happened. But I do have a spoiler for you guys that I'll show in a few minutes for Nemesis, which is our TNG movie set, which will be coming out in February. And that's going to be exciting. That set's been going through development for a long time, and I'm excited to get that moving. It's actually Dan Madison is his first start to finish design, so it's cool.
Brian
Along
Sykes
with,
on that as well.
Brian
And,
Sykes, Dan Hammond,
and Smiley.
and Alan, I believe. I think it's a 5-person team, but yeah, it's going to be cool. There's fun stuff. There's Remans, there's Nemesis movie Romulans. There's new toys for the Feds, some new toys for a couple other affiliations, which is surprising. So, other than that, we've been working hard on a bunch of kind of abstract things. We've been talking about a lot of the card. The elephant in the room is the problems we've had with power level with TOS decks and TNG board decks and a couple other things. And so the discussions are ongoing on that. We don't want those cards to be banned long. We want to bring them back, but we don't want to be, revisiting the same problem in 6 months because we didn't take our time. We didn't make thoughtful changes. And we're also working on clearing the ban list. So a bunch of cards have been on there for a long time. We have, I think, 18 cards in testing right now for errata, including some old favorites. That is going well. It's just been slow is the biggest thing. Basically all of December it's not quite dead time, but it's pretty slow, and testers haven't been doing much, which is fine. They deserve a break. Design wise, we're testing a project that we've mentioned before called Parachute. It's just 18 cards that don't really tie to anything else that we're going to get done and sort of hold back to be deployed when we need them. So if there's a gap in our schedule, if we have to do something like we had to split the TNG or split the TOS movie set, so there was a big delay, we could put Parachute out to fill a gap in our schedule, and it's not going to be reliant on projects that come before or after it. So that's getting finished up. And then Project Mandalorian, which is our AUQ sequel that is, according to the recent polls on the forums and Facebook, the most anticipated product of the next couple of years, is mostly done with design and is going to enter play testing soon.
Not
And
actually
we are
starring Pedro Pascal.
not actually starring. Yes,
I know he's been in everything right lately. But
it was Rogue and Solo for the 2 movie sets, and then the set after I gave it a related title. So, but we're gonna move away from codenames since nobody likes them but me apparently. We have our new set of promos. OP promos are done. They need to get finished. Same with the new set of tournament promos. So we're ahead of the game there. And yeah, things are going pretty great. Tribbles has been super slow. I have a set that's mostly ready. I want to get at least like one more cycle of testing in it, but no real updates there on that. If you're interested in testing Tribbles, if you'd want to play with some of the new cards and help us find out if they're good or bad or broken, please reach out because we could use some more people. And we're coming up on March, which would be the 5th annual March Madness for 1E. So we're starting to put plans for that into place. Trying to figure out what to do to make it big and special. So if you guys have any ideas out there, hit me up. The current idea that I'm dreading is to double the size of the bracket. So do 128.
Oh my
add
God.
a whole extra round.
Oh boy.
I'm not super thrilled about that because that's a ton of extra work. So please give me other ideas for how to make this special. And I'm gonna throw up a spoiler from Nemesis for you to share real quick. Hopefully this is on the screen. This is a new mission. It's actually the only mission in the set. It's from Nemesis. It's the
Not
battle.
for lack of trying.
Not for lack of trying. It's the Battle of Bassin Rift from the climax of the movie. It's a space mission. Fed Romulan icons, 30 points with a star. Span 4. Confront duplicate. So you need a bunch of officers and then either Shinzon or Jean-Luc Picard. It says any Shinzon or any Jean-Luc Picard. And the bonus points kick in if you have empathy. So if you bring the Viceroy or Deanna along, you get the bonus. So it's a fun little mission. It looks pretty. This is also going to be the release promo for Nemesis. And the image for the release promo, I believe, has the Enterprise and the Scimitar in the green field instead of just
Very symmetrical for the Feds and the Romulans.
It's a fun little mission, and it's one of 54 new cards you will get when Nemesis releases in February. So I'll leave this up for a few minutes and then
This file has gone to Jeremy. So there will be release kits. That'll be first priority. Will be the production will be the release kits for Nemesis. So hopefully I will get them at the warehouse by the time the set drops.
This is very much on my
here.
report as well.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say just a couple of comments on top of Charlie's regarding the set. It's something that I was able to view again just as I'm chair. I can see all the forums, so of course I'm gonna go snoop around. Why wouldn't you? That's part of the fun. And you can kind of see the themes of the set. There's definitely some flavors that are there. It feels to me at quick glance like a player set. Obviously Dan Madison and Brian Sykes are advocates and players at high level of tournaments. And don't sell this mission short. Anybody like me who's a degenerate board player goes, oh, this is a nebula. Look at that. I can use that in my 1E board decks. So even if just one mission, and it looks cooler than the other nebulas too. So I want to use it regardless, even if I don't necessarily have an ability to do it. You go simulate some Fed guy as your counterpart. There you go.
I can say that we didn't leave out the Borg in this set. This is not just a set about Nemesis. This is a set covering all the next gen movies. And though it's mostly Nemesis because it had been maligned for so many years, all the other movies do get an appearance. So there's a little something for everyone in here.
Yeah, I'm particularly excited about some of the first contact cards, but it's probably like.
I'm very excited. We still have stuff to do in First Contact.
Yeah, 70% Nemesis, maybe 80% Nemesis, and then the rest is there's some Insurrection, some Generations, and then there's a nice chunk of First Contact content, which I think might surprise some people until they think about it. So.
Yep. Well, and then the other thing I was going to add, the balance team, as you alluded to, has been pretty busy as well. And yeah, the changing up those cards have been on those ban lists for a long time. How do you find some type of balance for a card like time travel pod, for example, without like totally losing the flavor, right? So I again just glanced at some of those, and it's like that makes sense, but it is a difficult balance, no pun intended, on trying to maintain the flavor of the original, card that's now just bonkers in the current format. Distortion of space time is another one that comes to mind. Difficult to find what is acceptable for that, but
Yeah,
your team's been very busy.
I mean, the big reality is, disappearing a ship for 5 turns when the game went 30 turns was less of an impact as when it goes 8. So
Correct.
Anyway, that's it for Winnie.
Okay. TJ, you want to jump in with second edition?
Yeah, okay. We had 2 sets over Christmas time and was a little bit unlucky because I like to have different dates, but I texted Michael Shea and said, okay, we have 30th anniversary Deep Space Nine, and I said, can you do a little bit for it? And I suppose he will show up with, let's say, 9 cards, and he showed up with 45 cards. What was a little bit challenging for new images, but it was challenging for proofreaders, but he made it great new images. I expected 9, but okay, it was a full set. Good looking pictures. I'm fine with that. And nearby we had 15 years of Trek CC, so we made timeless. What was also a little bit challenging because it was a concept of my AP set, and we had AP personals. And thanks to Brian that he put the templates in the card creator app, and for Lucas that he made AP missions run. We had to do it manually. It was a small set, also most work running during Christmas time, and I thank everybody to make that set run. That was a 2 sets during Christmas time. It was a lot of work for people spending their free time for making these sets run. There are interesting sets, new images, new cards. The last set we had before those 2 was an interactive set with a lot of, I would say, advanced cards, complicated interaction. And now we have an AP set with easy cards where you can fill your sets with new simple cards because the lines available on the cards are just 3. That was a little bit tricky, but I like these. In the timeline, a set highly interactive, a set with new images, a set simple, I would say simpler. And that was during Christmas time. And now we have Project Justice. It has finished playtesting, so it goes into production now. And we will see. I want now give the people, all involved players, more time for production, art, more time, proofreading, more time, because it was all compressed in during Christmas time for the last 2 sets. Justice is ready. It passed playtesting. It is at creative now, and I also texted Art that the set is ready. And the next set going to playtesting is Shackleton, and I suppose it will go to playtesting within the next week. So Justice, the set we are working at the moment, is a rainbow set. There will be an article. I will talk to Ross. He wanted to update the community and writing an article, so I do not want to go too deep in detail, but it's a rainbow set, so he has something to write to the community. That is the set coming next. And then we have Shackleton going to playtesting. Shackleton is a set mainly about missions. After that, Shackleton, the timeline is open. We have 2 other projects we can give to playtesting, making run, but I intend to go after Shackleton, like as today, I intend to go to the Weedians. Yeah, we made the Weedians. They are in UP in the system. I want to talk with the designers first. They are on a very good base. I think they really had great ideas about the Weedians. They work different than in first edition, as far as I know it. Maybe Charlie can correct me. I'm a little bit out of Wani, but I think in TUI they have a Trek flavor, but it's a little bit different than in Wani, or I would say it's totally different than in Wani. but they captured the flavor very well, and I want to talk with them, and let's see if we can sharpen the special flavor of the Widians. That will be the first new addition for a new affiliation for years in TUI, and that's really a test.
First one we've done.
Sorry?
First one we've done as CC.
Yeah. So we have really to see. But what I saw, I looked through the cards. They are really looking great. The idea are good. I have a little bit making them a little bit sharper, a little bit more, I wouldn't say aggressive, but a little bit more to the flavor. We have to discuss it, but it's really 90% from what I expected, what they could do and how they could be. And based on these feedback we are discussing, I discussed with my XO the next possible affiliation so that the people can start with the next affiliation later this year. So we have a new affiliation maybe in late 2024 or early 2025 going to playtesting. We are just discussing what are possible new affiliations beside the actual sets. So we are discussing Cindy, Hirogen, Kazon. So we will see. So, but if Widians make it, we will go to the next affiliation too. Yeah, and we have other side projects we are running, but it's really, I normally have a timeline for 2 years, but I'm flexible which program is coming next. Now we have a set is Justice, and another one going to playtesting is Shackleton with a lot of missions. And then in my timeline at the moment, there will be Widians. So that we have the Widians at least going to playtesting, hopefully first card revealed at the end of the year, maybe. So that we can say we have a new affiliation in 2023 and going to brainstorming with possible affiliations for TUI also this year. But then the process is 1.5 years till we have it at a minimum a new affiliation. Yeah. Another thing we are working on is constantly working on errata. At the moment we're making errata just typos, cleaning up stuff, misspelling. And then there will be a next set of errata coming in April or May. Yeah, what will be actual errata. The other errata, I just say, it's nice to have errata where we clean up misspelling, grammar, wording of missions. And in April or May, we have a set of new errata, which are real errata. That is what we have at the moment from the TUI side.
Perfect. Yes. Sounds good. Thank you. Who's next? I lost my agenda in here somewhere. Too many tabs open. Is it ops? I think it's ops. Oh, communication. Sorry, it's communications. Daniel.
Me. I've been here the whole time. Yeah. Never really left. Just haven't been here on the board in a bit. But communications proceeds. I've been over the last year or 2 years or however long it's been. I have been continuing to run the writing team and currently managing social media, and generally the directors of first edition and second edition tend to do my reporting for me. Yeah, we just put out 2 2E sets, and Nemesis is on the horizon, so it has been a very busy month for writing and for social media. We are currently hammering out the release schedule for Nemesis, which is very soon. So some articles are already being planned. We're looking at setting up cards to go to social media, and I think you're going to be seeing some cards. Well, we saw one today, but I think, the art is like more or less done. I think you're going to be seeing cards from this set very soon. So that's, besides that and actually designing the set, and now I'm playing in the Return to Farpoint event. That's taken up a lot of my time. But now that I'm actually back in the board position, once things settle down, this new set is out of the way, I'm going to be looking at. I kind of need to check in with the staff, like the writers, ambassadors, that sort of thing. Figure out who's here, who isn't, and start looking at clearing out inactive members and getting some hiring in, trying to get the writing staff jump started. Go from there. Obviously, there are positions that need to be filled in the communications department, but I kind of need to get a sense of where we're at before we start on that. But that's going to be the next big project in the new year once set release winter has died down.
Yeah, well said. I mean, I imagine if you're kind of a one-man show a lot at the top of the communications department, and you and I have spoken about that before, you know, you're gonna need some help eventually, and it sounds like. Okay. Ops, Dan, that would be Brian.
I have not been very busy since the last meeting. At least not on Star Trek stuff. I've mostly been traveling between some work stuff and then holidays. But this past week I've been very busy with Trek stuff because I have a giant backlog of stuff I'm shipping out. So I think so far this week I've sent out about 30 things, and there's another stack sitting at the front door waiting to go to the post office, and there's still 15 or 20 more things I have to pack up. So that is in the works. So folks who have had giveaways that they've won, you know, on not raffles, but what do we call those other ones? Are they just giveaways where we're doing like prizes for, I don't remember what they were.
Contests or whatever.
Yeah, contests and things like that. Those are shipping now or have already shipped. So should be starting to receive them Monday, I think, because some of them are almost there according to tracking. What else? Marcus has been busy as ever, tweaking things on the website, which some folks have seen and not wholeheartedly backed. I've seen, but he continues to work on it. Every day I see his code being submitted, so it's not like he's dumping something new on everyone and then running away. He's continuously working that. What else? I saw, Maggie, that you had some questions on achievements, and I think Rogue and Marcus were looking into those, but did that get solved? Do you know?
I got the achievement. Marcus isn't sure what happened,
Okay.
except possibly because I submitted the tournament results around 11:20 p.m. on Eastern time, that it might have been in the middle of when the system was checking for whether decks got achievements. And so it checked for, maybe it checked for the no big and go home achievement and didn't see my deck made it. And then I submitted tournament results and attached my deck. And then later on it checked for the 5x5. So
okay, well, so long
I got my achievement.
Yeah, so long as that ended up happy at the end, I'm fine with that.
Oh, I'm very happy. I can retire that deck now.
What else? Can't think of anything else off the top of my head. I will say though that we, at some point this year, and I have no better idea of when that would be yet, but we have to do another software upgrade for the website and the form and everything. So at some point this year, that's going to happen. It might be another day off for the website, but I don't know when. But it's coming. So aside from that, I think I'm done.
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, I mean, those little tweaks that you mentioned for that Marcus has been doing, he fixed the two. So maybe folks don't know this. Keith Morris a long time ago had linked all of the 2E starter decks so that they're the top of the page and sticky them. So if people like me are playing a sealed event, you take whatever starter you're going to play, you can just drop it into your own deck builder, away you go. Two of those decks have always had an incorrect card, and then I ended up spending forever. Every time I do this, I end up spending forever trying to figure out what that missing card is. And I mentioned it to Maggie when she was sending out the card pools, and I think she must have mentioned it to Marcus because magically they're finally fixed after like 14 years. The deck lists are all correct for a change. Again, a little thing that really matters to people like me who play in sealed, and I mean, especially for the board deck. Maggie, didn't you say it was like an analyze instead of an adapt or something? Like, who's going to remember that? It was one verb versus the other.
Yeah, it was 2 adapts instead of 2 analyzes, and the only way that I figured out it had to be the 2 analyzes is because those are starter rarity.
Oh, see, there we go.
And the adapts are commons. So yeah, so that was the only way I knew that was what was in there. And
the Romulan
kudos.
starter had Tomalak from Fractured Time randomly in it, not the equipment card. I could never remember what equipment card was in there. But so Marcus fixed both, which again, little thing, big impact. If that's all for ops, I'll jump in with my organized play update. Obviously, we've had a couple of months go by since our last board meeting, so we have a ton of events. I hope Justin's got his pencil ready because I'm going to rapid fire him pretty bad. For completed stuff, we had a lot of locals: Illinois, Florida, New York, Minnesota, California. We had German nationals and Austrian nationals. And an online masters. That was the other one that just recently wrapped up. The Ref 2.0 sealed, as Maggie mentioned, is in process right now. Return to Farpoint and Return to Talos 4 events are in process or coming up. And as far as upcoming stuff in organized play side, a whole lot of locals again. I won't bother you with all 12 names, but some of those are leagues. Some of them are events happening in Florida. I noticed a somewhat newer venue, which is kind of cool to see. Dan might know that. That must be down where the other Matthew is, right? And it was someplace I had not heard of. It was Louisiana side of the coast.
I'm not familiar with this.
Okay, well, get in your car and drive over there is what I'm saying. It's like next week. Yeah, Maggie and I both have locals next week, as I alluded to. There will be a master's level event that's actually coming up pretty soon in Georgia, which I'm excited about for that as well. For more kind of just generally speaking, and this kind of touches on new business. If you are interested, and this is, I always leave this on the agenda. If you're interested in running a high level event, please reach out to myself, to your local continental coordinator, because we've had some kind of organic events pop up lately that certainly could be masters events. I saw that there was a Monasters event is coming up again. And if those organizers are interested in making that a masters again, I'm sure Michael would be willing to have a conversation about that. So please consider running that as a higher level event. We've alluded to already with the promos conversation that next year is the year of Ferengi. So if you're interested in marmalade colored playmats, please get a masters on your schedule. And we'll have all those promos kind of slowly getting spoiled, I think, once they're finalized. That's what I believe to be the case. As far as kind of high level year in review, I always try to look back at participation numbers for organized play. And as a group in 2021, the 2021 numbers to the 2022 numbers, we actually grew a little bit last year in terms of overall player participation for the year, which is terrific to see. We're still well off the pace of the players we had in 2019. And that's, obviously COVID had a huge part of that, but also, just organically, we're going to decline as the game gets older. But I guess my main thing I'm happy to see is the numbers are on the same, right? And there's some brand new people that have just recently started playing the game. So I have a lot of hope for 2023. We can keep building on that both online and locally. It's kind of my spiel. Any questions from the group on my update? If not, we can jump to Justin.
Yeah, I just have a clerical note to add before we move on. One thing involving organized play that I help out on that I have not updated in some time is the current buy list. It's not really relevant until we get to continental season, but there, I haven't really touched it since Worlds, and there have been a couple of nationals and a couple of high level events where some buys would have been awarded, and I haven't gotten around to update. I'm going to be doing that soon. Is what I'm getting to. Is I'm gonna get a new. There already is a new topic in the organized play forum for 2023 buy list, and I'm going to get that up to date within the next week or so here, and we'll get that pinned as soon as it's up to date.
Yeah,
And
I
a long-term solution to that would be fixing whatever the heck is wrong with the tournament system that it's not keeping track of that itself. But I have
Yes.
not had time to look into that, so I apologize.
well, that was partially again COVID related. I hate blaming that, but we let buys roll over. So you had all these buys that were earned in 2 or 3 year period that all
Right.
we kind of made everybody cash them all in last year.
So even
Daniel,
if the system was working, it wouldn't be working right.
Yeah. Exactly. So Ryan, don't sweat it. Daniel's been doing a terrific job again. I thank you for that moonlighting for organized play for us to help with making sure that buys list is right. Now, thankfully, everybody had a chance to cash it all in, and if you didn't, now it's a fresh year. So anything earned this year will count for this year, and there will not be any carryover from last. So
the only thing carrying over from last is any events that took place after Continentals or Worlds. There were a couple of nationals. There were some things that happened.
Right, but we're not like
some late
running
regionals,
down.
that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's not like Johannes qualified because he won 2020 whatever, and we're like, oh, whoops, he gets to use one again. Nothing of that anymore. So, all right, Justin's been very quiet and waiting very patiently to go last. So have at it, Justin.
Hey, I almost did not wake up in time. I woke up at 7:30. I go, oh crap, there's a meeting. December was pretty busy. Just catching up on emails, going through forums, and getting caught up from being gone for 2 weeks in November. Shameless plug: New Zealand is amazing. If you like the outdoors, go to New Zealand. It's amazing. But it has been pretty quiet, which is always good to see. Nobody ever likes to see that we spend money. If we don't really have much to spend. Ferengi play mats is the upcoming expense, and the buttons and foils, which is typically our largest expense in the year. So that will be coming here this month. And quarterly updates, of course, have been on time this year. Yay. The reminders have been working. So again, we don't ever intend to keep everybody in the dark. Typically, the first week after the end of the quarter, the updates and info will go live on the forums for people to pick apart, ask questions, comment, troll, do whatever they want to do. And so everything's good. We're all good. Should be ready to go into 2023.
Well, hopefully not troll. That's not nice.
I mean, people are people, people will do what people want to do, and I welcome it. Every comment, whether it's silly or, serious, every comment is taken seriously, because, that just means you as the community are looking at the statements and looking at the posts, and, that's good. We want you to, be engaged and, know what's going on. So.
Definitely. Jumping down to old business, I already touched on bidding for high level events. Next on that is the search for the new communications director. Unsurprised, Daniel Madison's rejoined the board. That's pretty much just clearing that off of the to-do list. We've taken care of it. Again, we're very happy to have him. New business is the ongoing peer review, which Maggie touched on earlier. I don't know if there's anything more to add on that. Maggie or Charlie or anybody else have anything you want to add on the comments? I know I filled out the questions. I only had one PM or one post that had questions. So there's more, please send them my way.
Yeah, it's on my list today to answer Brian Sykes's questions about the period of review. He's the only person who has posted questions for me. Yeah, and for most of us, so those of you who are watching this, we do take the period of review seriously. Charlie did make in our discussion board, he did want to talk about membership again.
Mhm.
So one of the things that came up, apparently there is a feeling, not with people on the forums, or maybe with people on the forums who aren't discussing it, but more people on Facebook who are saying that our membership is too narrow and we are leaving people out. And so the thought was to broaden the membership definition. So right now the membership definition is anyone who's a volunteer for the continuing committee, and that includes tournament directors. And that has in past years included tournament directors or people who have a an active premium membership. So, and we always said, if you want to vote in the period of review, activate your premium membership just before the voting period. Do it for a 1 month. It costs you $5, and then that gives you the vote. But apparently the thought was to broaden this to anyone who is registered with the site who has participated in a tournament in the last year. So I asked Brian Schaefline to run the numbers for that, and it came back like 140 people, Brian, something like that.
I don't remember the exact number.
But I thought that was a significant enough number of people. Okay, there are 106 tournament players from 2022 who aren't currently a volunteer or a premium member. So I thought that was a significant enough number of people that it might merit discussion of adding that set of people. And again, these are people who are registered with the forums. So hopefully not. I don't, one of the concerns that I would have about this that I could see is that somebody making some sock puppets and registering people at the forums, and then running tournaments so they have more votes in the period of review. But that seems like an awful lot of work to me. But somebody who's, I guess, if you're thinking far enough ahead that over the year you're gonna run a bunch of fake tournaments with sock puppets just to vote us out, I think that there's part of me that's like, okay, yeah, if you're really that passionate about it, go for it.
Yeah, I would think that that's a lot. I mean, and to me, again, I'm thinking of playing locally, right? So it's like, okay, to me, if you register for the forums and you've played an event, to me, the bare minimum threshold of invested in our future. I would contend that seems like a reasonable definition of a member of the continuing committee. As long as you're a member in good standing, right? That's the other main piece.
Yeah,
that's a separate conversation.
Yes, that is the other part of it. If you are currently banned from the forums for any reason, even if you have an active premium membership, you cannot vote in the period of review. So that is an important component of the membership, is you need to be a member in good standing.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
the proposal was designed to add, not remove. So like the existing definition stays, and we just add if you played in a tournament over the past year. So
yeah, of course.
Are we looking to vote on that or just discuss it? I just want to clarify for your minutes.
I mean, we have the whole board here, so I would say, since we're adding, I mean, we can make the motion of everybody in favor of adding the definition to member if you're an active forum.
Well, don't we need to do like write the actual language and post it and request for comments and all that? Like, aren't we obligated to do that, or can we just change this
Well,
Like-
we're adding, we're not changing. So I think we're adding. So I think
No, we're literally
this is-
changing.
We're changing the bylaws, Justin.
Right.
We,
correct.
yeah, we need to actually like we would need to craft the language and vote on it.
We can craft it and then have a special meeting to vote on it before the peer review if that's necessary. Like, and it could be a 5-minute thing where here's the language, this is what we're voting on. Like, but for this meeting's purpose, we're saying
We're discussing it.
we're intending to at least get that ready, right?
I mean, there's been criticism in the past that there are people who don't support us and don't want to donate, but they're ineligible to vote. And I mean, I'm sensitive to that. You know, if there's 100 and something people out there that aren't current voting members that participate in an equally important way as somebody who's volunteering, they should have the chance to have their voices heard. Now, that's really where I'm coming from. Like, you know, that there is a criticism that we're silencing dissent, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to silence dissent. If people aren't happy, they should be able to let us know that. So that's where
I
I'm
think the
coming
larger issue when we decided to make it paid accounts was we didn't want, it was to prevent sock puppets. We didn't want somebody to make a dozen accounts in the system and then use them all to vote.
I'm sensitive to that, but like, do we not have the capability to detect that? You know? And if we
sure.
don't, then maybe
Theoretically, yeah.
Again, if
I'm not talking about playing in tournaments. I'm just talking about adding, just making a bunch of emails and adding members. That's what they were trying to prevent in the first place.
Yeah.
This seems like a passable compromise.
Yeah, because it's a combination. You have to have the active account, but you also have to participate in the tournament. So I feel like the only negative side would be is if somebody really does make like 4 fake accounts and 4 fake profiles and does a fake tournament, you know, in their house. I mean,
that just seems like so much work to get to that point. I guess I'm
Right.
with Maggie. If you really care that much, okay. And I would think that that's probably not going to pass muster for Marcus or the ops team who has to let you use that venue as a new venue, right? They have to add it. So someone's looking at it.
It's something that could be detected, and like someone did try to do that once, and the event was marked unsanctioned. That once it was discovered, like that could certainly happen if an event is declared invalid for any reason, then it wouldn't count.
I mean, I think that's worrying about something we don't need to worry about.
Yeah, I guess to progress the conversation, we're obviously not voting on it. I think generally there's support for the board. It sounds like there's support for that revision, and we will make those revisions and then obviously have it presented to the board and make a vote. That sound right? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to have it in place for this year. I'm just not sure how practical it is.
Sure. We will do our best. How about that? To get it in place. That seems like the fairest way to put it. Anything else on the period of review?
Just make sure, as I say every year, anybody who is currently a member, please make sure to that your email with Trek CC is up to date and is the one that you receive emails at, and so that you will receive the link from OPA-Vote. And I don't remember off the top of my head. I think it comes from OPA. The email comes from OPA-Vote, I think. So I don't have an email address that you all could whitelist for this year. But yeah, I mean, it's we do want to make sure that that voting does happen, and then we get we get as many people voting as possible in the period of review.
There any questions then that have come in from the chat or from anything else? Charlie, I actually got sent a text message question. they're curious about the was it a promo a week thing, or what did we do? Was it 2020 when we did that? Somebody's asking if we're going to do that again, where you got a promo. Is it every week? I think.
Yeah, we did it in 2020, and people liked it, but it had some issues, and the plan was always it was sort of something we had thrown together because the pandemic was going on, and we were looking for something to make people happy, and I had fully intended to do it again in 2021, and then things got delayed, and one of the complaints was it's all just AIs. And so the plan was to try to mix it up so there would be AIs and some new cards. The play testing got delayed and then got delayed and then got delayed. And so it's still something I would like to do, but the idea was to make it much more consistent, because the way we did it the first time was like there was a promo every Friday unless there was a set being spoiled, which was just hard for people to keep track of. So the idea was to do every other Friday from the whole year, which would be 26 cards, and then throw an extra one in there, a ship commander or something, or a dual affiliation one. And it's something I would like to return to, but it's just been logistically difficult to coordinate. So
totally get it. I guess everybody always wants more, right? For me personally, as a player, not at all speaking as anything more than just a player, I loved it, and I would rather get an AI than nothing. So, and honestly, I really like what you've done with last time. It was a lot of missions, and I swear to God, I seem like I'm printing all these AU and white border and Q continue. They're old, like the old missions. My spoiler alert, my deck for next weekend's local uses investigate disturbance, which has always looked like a bowling ball with a skull in it to me, and I didn't like that image, and your AI has a different kind of look to it, so I printed the AI. So anyway, long story short, it was just a question that came in. I thought I'd ask it. Maybe we can look forward to it in the future, but yeah, hopefully. For me, I'd love to see it. If we don't, that's fine too.
Fair enough.
Other guys or folks, do you have any questions in the chat or anywhere else that just come in?
Brian Sykes asked in the YouTube chat, so moderators now have the authority to affect people's memberships, and I responded that has always been the case.
Wait, it's not forum bans that make you ineligible, right?
Right, not forum bans. It's the
Not forum bans?
when we
No, it's
vote on.
bans.
You're not in good standing if the board revokes it.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Like
Yeah,
the more serious ban.
Yeah, you can go on a rant and get forum banned and still get to vote because it doesn't revoke your membership. It's just you're not in good standing if you're removed by the board.
Okay, so I stand corrected. I was misremembering how that went rather severely, apparently.
I'm glad that Brian
apologies.
asked the question. So thanks, Brian, for the question, because clarification. Good.
Yeah. So so I apologize for that. We also just got a question. Are we going to be continuing it with a capital C with the borderless promos?
So we have a whole set of them that never got printed, right? There was we did the first half, and then those are now printable.
No, they've been printed. Dan has been assembling. In fact, he's been a busy beaver and sent me these. I have.
Is that the Katara? Which ship
Those
was
aren't-
that?
That's the Katara. This is series 2, I believe. Yeah, because that's 10B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 sets of the first edition that are going over to the warehouse as soon as I have other stuff to take to the warehouse. So Dan has more of these that he is assembling for the second series. But as I think we've said before, with the ships, we won't be able to print anymore because we are out of the rainbow paper, and it's no longer being manufactured.
And we could do them on our normal paper, but they would be less pretty. They'd be very pretty, but just less pretty.
Right.
They
So
would
instead
not
of
be
being-
as sexy.
Yeah, instead of being gorgeous, it'll only be beautiful. Sorry, you won't just.
So
play
I
it.
guess the elephant in the room here is we have not satisfactorily been distributing these. We always wanted them to be rare, but not for them to be like sell a kidney to get one rare.
Some folks do have those now. I did. They have shipped and been delivered. At least some of them.
Some of them have extra kidneys. That's good.
I am a big fan of doing them as long as we can figure out a better distribution model so that they are regularly going out. They still shouldn't be like in every tournament kit at every tournament, but people should have a reasonable expectation of being able to get or trade for a set of them. And right now that's not the case and hasn't been the case. So I'd love to do more, but they would have to be on the traditional paper, the same paper we do our regular foils on. And we as an organization would need to up our distribution model. Now, if we ever get the reward store up and running, they can be tied into that so people can get them with their reward points. I'm in favor. The question is, can we solve the two problems? Are people going to be okay with them printed on regular paper? And can we increase our distribution so it's rare and not devastatingly ultra rare?
Yeah, I've scoured the website. I've trying to find any other manufacturer that makes paper, and they're not making it.
I mean, we can get it made. We just have to pay a shit ton of money for it. There are places that make custom paper, but you have to buy so much. It would be cost prohibitive.
Then we would be selling our kidneys to make them. So let's not do that.
Everybody keep their kidneys.
Please. If Justin remembers anything from this meeting, I hope it's that in minutes. That would be fun. If we don't have any other questions, we've ran over our hour right now. Anything else for the board or board meeting? If not, does anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then we stand adjourned. Thank you.